Welcome to Gen Online Summit, third edition. And here we're doing a session on Hilo with Claire from the Terran Collective. I'm here with Gabriel, one of the other tireless workers behind the scenes of making this summit happen. And we're excited to explore how Hilo is going to be, basically, we're going to learn more about Hilo overall and how it is and how it's come to be. And then also how we're going to use it in the summit. And quickly, part of how we'll use it during the summit as an engagement platform for sharing about the hubs and the efforts and events within the hubs, as well as a place to do more of direct connection. We'll share more about that and show more about that in just a bit. So welcome, and I hand it over to you, Claire.
Great, okay. Okay, well, hi everyone. It's so nice to be here. I'm so excited to support the Global Ecovillage Network as a representative of Hilo and tell you all a little bit about what Hilo is. So Hilo is a social coordination platform for a thriving planet. And yes, I'm excited to tell you all about it and share how it works and our values and why we are so aligned with the goals of Global Ecovillage Network. So I'm part of a group called Terran Collective, and we are a community of care and practice in the Bay Area of California. And our goal is to amplify cooperation among people regenerating our communities and our planet. And we do that in a number of ways. We're big community builders, big fans of the Ecovillage movement and participants in community ourselves. And one of the things that's very important to us is technology. It's the Bay Area, we're technologists. And we believe that we really need strong tools in this movement that we're all a part of to steward a shift towards a world that works for all, towards a transition to a regenerative future. And so the tool that we're working on to help with that is Hilo. Hilo is the tool for this movement trying to create a world that works for all. The most important thing about this tool is that we need to be able to coordinate. Many of us who organize, who do work in the world, have been using tools that weren't designed for that. Basic social media tools, and those are not designed to help us make the world a better place. Those tools are, they've led to a breakdown of trust, is what we say. Instead of helping us build social relationships, they've often created this polarization and a breakdown of trust. And those kind of tools aren't going to help us in building strong relationships and building villages, because we're up against a lot right now. This is a pretty intense time in the world, right? So our technologies have really extracted from us more than they've given to us. We're at odds with our planet. We're at odds with our institutions. We're at odds with each other. And with this situation, it's going to be very hard to heal the planet at the scale that we need to and create village at the scale that we need to. So in order to really make the change in the world that's needed right now, we need a new type of social technology to help us coordinate effectively, to help us build trust. So the theory of change behind Hilo is that we can design a social platform that actually helps build relationships and strengthen trust that's designed for these things, because those are key to unlocking collective sense-making, choice-making, and action, ultimately organizing impactful action. So if a community moves through this scaffolding, we hope that we will take communities along for this journey from the default extractive world into a new regenerative reality. Because if we have the ability to have a shared reality and make decisions together and take action together, then we can create a world that works for all. So here's a little bit more about that journey. Hilo includes a lot of resource coordination tools like requests and offers that we can fulfill for each other. And when we do those things together, we build relationship and we build trust. Hilo includes mapping tools so that we can share what's happening in our landscape and we can share the resources that are available in our community. And that unlocks a layer of sense making, which just means that we can step into a shared reality together about what is real and what is true. And we can have a shared understanding about our world. And that's really, really important if we're going to make good decisions together. We have to start stepping into collective decision making so that we as a community are taking responsibility together for the resources we share in common and acting as stewards collectively to make the decisions as a group about what is going to be best for all. And then ultimately, we can take action on those choices and be really effective and steward our communities and our resources in a way that is generative and aimed at the good of all. So a little bit more about Hilo, some really important values underpinning it is place-based organizing is one of them. We have an end goal of bioregional regeneration. And by the bioregion, we're just talking about areas of land that are defined by the contours of the landscape itself, defined by the ecological characteristics of the place, the beings that make their home there, as well as human patterns. So the Bay Area watershed is one of them, and this is subjective and totally place-based and based on what the people of the land want to call themselves. But we have to organize where we are. So even though Hilo is an online tool, we really want to help people identify with the land they live on and connect with the people that are around them. Because ultimately the people that we share our landscape with, that's our community. And we need to be able to learn to work together. And we need the tools to find the people to work together with to heal our own communities. We also have a group architecture we call holonic architecture. A holon is a whole part of a whole part. And so we want to reflect with Hilo that every group is its own sovereign entity and we're part of a larger networked ecosystem. And it's really important to give groups the tools to coordinate, not just within themselves, that's very important, but especially between groups, so that we have this wider movement that's capable of taking action together for our shared goals. And this is so important because if we're just stuck in little silos, we're not going to make the change that's needed at this time. We need to bust the silos and be coordinating across groups because no one group, no single group is going to regenerate the entire planet. This is a time for us all to be coming together and getting into coherence as a movement to create eco-villages around the world, to heal our land. There's so much work to do. And so we need tools that really allow us to do what needs to be done. So we say this is about social coordination, right? It goes way beyond social media. We're not just sharing links, although that's good too, but we really want to give a tool to our movement that includes all of you, a tool that lets us coordinate action. So just a few other use cases I'm going to run through here. Food security is really huge. We want to build community that supports local food systems and give the tools that allow people to be exchanging resources like food surplus just within their local community and being able to just skip the market, skip the state, but let's be helping each other in a peer-to-peer way. So mutual aid, right? That's so important. Like we can oftentimes meet each other's needs. We just need tools to help us find each other and match with the people that have what we need or the people who need what we have. And choosing together, that collective decision making that I mentioned, and ultimately bioregional coordination. So how can we actually shift our society towards stewardship of the land we live on and an understanding of that goes beyond boundaries, that goes beyond property lines, but actually being able to coordinate beyond boundaries, beyond borders, right? And work together as a movement to achieve our goals. So Hilo has been around for a little while, actually, about 5 years, and it started as a venture-backed platform, but last year it was open sourced, and my group Terran Collective was given stewardship of it. And it was actually an agreement between us and Hilo, the makers of the decentralized internet platform Holochain. And we're going to be working together with them to ultimately port Hilo over to Holochain so that it can be a decentralized architecture. But right now there's already lots of groups using it. And I'd say we're in kind of a beta state with it because since we inherited it, we're doing a lot of work to improve the platform. And I'll mention some of those things in just a minute. But currently there's over 50 active organizations that are posting things every day. And we have, at this point, well over 2,500 monthly active users. So that's small, right? It's not huge, but the groups that we have on here are incredible leaders in the regenerative movement. And we really want to work just directly with these groups that are doing the work that we think is so necessary in the world right now. So I'm personally so excited to be sharing Hilo with Jen because this is an organization that's like doing the exact work in the world that we want to support. And so we're really excited to embark on this relationship with all of you and hear what is needed from you. And then we can shape Hilo to specifically help what is needed. So a little bit about our values. So it's really, really important, the values that underpin the technology we use, right? Like I like to say that all technology embeds the biases, the traumas, the lived experiences of the people who create it. No technology is a neutral thing. And so what we care about here at Terran and the values that are driving us as we build Hilo are these things right here. So 7th generation thinking, we want to make sure that this tool is going to create a better world for the generations coming after us. We do this in relationship with our partners, with the people who we want to support in using Hilo, like Jen. We do everything as much as possible in transparency because we want everyone to see what we're doing. We don't have anything to hide here. We really want to dismantle the asymmetries that go into creating technology typically. And yet there's so many of those asymmetries. So one of them is people are, a lot of technology is built in a silo. A lot of it, the technology kind of takes the data away from the user and then does what they want with it. So we don't want to do any of that. We are really driven by interoperability. So we are working with a group called the Collaborative Technology Alliance to create shared standards around data and to make sure that anyone that puts their data into Hilo has a lot of freedom to take it out and to move it to another platform and really just take it and do with it what you want. And the other side of that is sovereignty. So we're not going to trade or sell anyone's data. We really want to respect the sovereignty of the people that trust us with their information. And then inclusivity, doing this with as many voices at the table as we possibly can. And this relates to collective stewardship as well. So we're embarking on a stakeholder governance process to include as many people as we can in the decision making around Hilo, so that we're really building on the wisdom of our entire community here. Yeah, there's a lot that's happening with Hilo right now. We just did one major release and we have another one coming in a week or two. And these are some of the awesome new features that we're releasing right now. So we're knocking out a lot. And the reason for that is that we're nearing the end of a season of working with a really wonderful partner, the Planetary Health Alliance, which is an organization out of Harvard that unites public health and ecological health professionals. And they decided to resource Hilo so that we could build all of these things and shape Hilo to serve their needs, which is stewarding a global organization of 200 plus member organizations. So for Jen, which is another networked global organization, everything that we've built for Planetary Health Alliance is really going to hugely benefit the Jen community. So some of those things are the holonic architecture, which I touched on, and that has just been released in its first iteration. So I'll show that in the demo in just a minute. Improved profiles, and really just a lot of things, but I'll share the demo and just a few more slides here. I wanted to touch on where we're going next. We have fortunately just received a few large gifts, so the team is going to be able to achieve a lot of our goals this year, which is really wonderful. And some of the things that I want to highlight that are not on here are language support. So right now, Hilo is in English, and this is not not going to work for our global audience. And we don't want to assume that everyone can use English or wants to use English. So we are going to be building international language support very soon in the coming season. And that's going to allow us to include whatever languages are needed by our constituents. So French, Spanish, Portuguese, I'm sure are going to be some of the top ones. And whatever else our community asks for, we'll be able to incorporate pretty easily once that structure is built in. So that is a huge one for this group. And yeah, just stay in touch because we're gonna be sharing a lot with the community on Hilo over the next few months. We have a lot on our roadmap. Let's see, we have a wonderful team. I won't go through everyone right now, but yeah, our team is some epic humans. And our partners, we love our partners. We do everything in relationship with other groups. I mentioned the Collaborative Technology Alliance, the Planetary Health Alliance. We have another incredible alliance taking shape around regenerative agriculture. It doesn't really have a name yet, but more on that soon. And yeah, almost done here. So just a few words about structure behind Hilo. So Hilo is an open source project. It's free to use. And we are not doing this like as a business or to, maximize revenue or anything like that. The goal of Hilo is to maximize cooperation. And the structure of Hilo right now, we're stewarding it as a nonprofit. Terran Collective also has an LLC, but we are on a journey to discover what is the best corporate structure for a collaboratively stewarded platform that we want to be held in trust as a commons. So anyone that is an expert on that field, please get in touch. But yeah, our plan is for this really to be driven by stakeholder governance. And it's our gift to all of you. And all of you are part of the story. Yeah, we really want to welcome everyone into getting involved with Hilo. Once I'm done presenting, I can share a link for a community on Hilo called Building Hilo, which is about 400 people that are all participating in making this platform better in different ways. There's so many ways to participate. Open source isn't just about contributing code, but sharing your ideas, your vision, helping with translations. All of these things are ways people can help with our mission. So yes, thank you for letting me share about Hilo and going through my deck. I'm gonna pause this and I'm going to transition to doing a demo so I can show you all these things that I've been talking about. Cool. So can you still see my tab with Hilo showing? Yes. Okay, great. So I have here open the Gen Ecovillage Summit group on Hilo. And this is really cool because, the invitation only went out for this group a few days ago, but there's already, looks like 100+ members in the group, which you can see over there. And so this is the main interface when you get into a group on Hilo. We have a stream in the middle. So pretty standard, familiar kind of orientation. And Hilo was actually designed as a gift from the team that designed Slack and Uber. So it's really high quality design, and they tried to make it very simple and actually not too like attention grabbing, because we actually don't want it to be this like extractive thing. We just want it to be clean and simple. So the stream has all different kinds of posts. You can have discussions, requests, offers, resources, as well as events and projects. So you can see the Gen team sharing here, and people are introducing themselves and commenting. Here, let's find one with a lot of comments. Let's open this post. So the post comes out on the right, and there's a comment thread. We're actually about to release inline comments, so replies to comments. So that's going to be exciting. And you can post photos and reply with photos, pin posts, edit posts, all the normal functionality that you would expect. Upvoting. And yeah, it seems like there's so much engagement happening in this community already, which is really, really cool. So when you're creating a new thing to share on Hilo, you click this create button, and you can create any of these things. So I'm not actually going to post, but maybe I have to offer free vegetable starts, right? And I want to give away some vegetable starts for my greenhouse. I can write a description. I can enter a topic, which is how we organize conversation on Hilo. So the topic is like gardening is probably on here already. So there are topics that already exist in the Hilo universe: gardening, permaculture. Yep, so I'll just add a few topics. And so then this is really cool. The community that I'm selecting to post in right now is Gen Ecovillage Summit, but this is a super unique thing about Hilo. I can actually choose to post in as many groups as I want that I'm a member of. And this one post will appear in all those places and create a shared conversation among all these different groups. So this is a very powerful feature for weaving together different communities on something that, more than one group is going to care about. So let's see, I'm part of my bioregion group. Maybe the good people over at the Buckminster Fuller Institute would care about this. So that is that feature. We have the option to make this post public, which means that anyone on Hilo can see it. So that's a brave thing to do, but it's totally optional. I can select a time frame that my offer is available, and I can set a location. So there's all these options here, and it really gives you a lot of control over who sees your post, when it appears, where it appears. If you add a location, it will appear on the map, which I'll show you in a minute. And you can add an attachment and an image, all these things. So I'm just going to X out of this, but that's how you share a post. And let's see, since I mentioned, there's so many things. First, I'm going to go to the member directory. So Hilo is a great place to make friends. And you can go over on the right-hand side here to members. I'm going to click on that. And this is our automatically generated member directory. So we can search by skills or name, or we can just browse and see Cal is here, and lots of people are here. And some people have selected a lot of skills. So this person has really filled out their profile. Good job, Alexandra. Let's look at her profile. And this is wonderful. She's really customized this, and I highly recommend that people do this so people can learn who you are and what you're all about. So there's a profile photo and a banner photo, a description. She's a chief sustainability strategist. Awesome. And then all of these skills and interests. And we have the option here on Hilo to say what current skill set we have, as well as what we want to learn about, which is really great. So we can find people that have the skills we want, and we can find people that want to learn the skills we have. And then we have affiliations here. So this little affiliation section will show all the communities on Hilo that someone is a member of. But in your member profile, you also have the option to list affiliations for other organizations that are not on Hilo, but just to say like who you are, or the place where you work, or whatever other thing you might want to share that you're a part of, you can add that. And then of course there's like recent activity, and whatever the person is up to, you'll be able to see it all in their profile. Okay, so now I'm going to show the map, because this is super exciting. This is the first thing we built when Terran Collective took on stewardship of Hilo. And yeah, I think it is still loading, because the last time I looked at this, there were pins all over this map, because there are 54 things showing up, including a lot of people. Oh, here we go. Great. Yeah, so you can see already that the map for just this group is full of things, and mostly these are members. So a bunch of people have put themselves on the map all around the world, and that is just really, really cool. And if we click on any of these things, that person will come up. Yeah, so we love this feature. And it's not just members that show up, it's posts, and you can sort by what kind of post it is over here if you want to narrow it down. You can also over here search by topics. So you can really use the map as you want. It's a powerful tool, and we're really just getting started with it. We're going to add a lot more to the map over the next season. But yeah. All right, so some other things I should mention is that over here in the top right, there's some standard functionality. There's search. You can search the community for anything you want. We have direct and group messaging. So there's a whole messaging interface where you can, here's my message with Kayla and Gabriel and all these people. You can do single messages or you can do group messages. And then there's notifications as well. And that's something that members have control over in their settings. So I'll just go over to my settings and show you all that real quick. So in settings, that's where you edit your profile, add your skills. Here's the affiliation section I was mentioning. So you can see all the groups. I'm a member of a lot of groups. The notifications interface lets you set for each group you're a part of. Do you want emails? Do you want push notifications? And how often do you want them? Maybe you don't want them at all. Awesome, just set that here. Yeah. So that's the basics of those. Let me go back in all my groups. Here, let's go back to Jen. Oh yeah, and I should explain the drawer over here is how you navigate between your groups. And so all the groups you're a part of will show up over on this side. And just to show you all a little bit about that holonic architecture I was mentioning, I'll show you another group that has this as an example. So when a group is connected to more than one groups, there's another tab that shows up on the left here, which is the groups tab. And that just shows you all the other groups that are in relationship with the current group. So Building Hilo is our community for people that are just working on the open source project of Hilo. And this group is a member of the larger Hilo network, and it's a member of the Terran collective network. And then our pro-social circle is a group within Building Hilo. So we have this nesting structure, and really the nesting is infinite, and you can set up whatever group relationships you like. And as an admin of a group, you have some control over these things. You can set your group description, and then you can set visibility as well as access to the group. So just for anyone that's thinking of making their own, there's a lot of admin tools just to help you get set up and create the right container for your group to do its work in the world. All right, so yeah, back to Jen. I think that's pretty much the main overview. I will mention that this is the web app, obviously. The web app works very well looking at it through a mobile device. It's totally mobile friendly. And we also have an iOS and an Android native app as well. So whatever platform is best for you to use, we have it. Yeah, and just enjoy using Hilo, and I can't wait to see what this group does with it. So with that, I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm happy to answer questions or hear more from Kayla and Gabrielle about how the summit is going to use Hilo.
Hey, welcome, and welcome others who've joined, and thank you so much, Claire. Wow, that's so great. I love seeing it, and already having been familiar with the mission and the purpose and how the tools are growing in this recent time that I've been involved. I'm just really excited again. Yeah, and so there's a couple things that we want to cover about how we're going to use it in the summit. So I'll probably do another screen share to cover some of that. But before that, I just wanted to answer one of the questions in the chat. Burs, I believe is your name. If I'm saying it right. Birge. Okay, of course,
Yeah.
that's much better to say it right. Thank you. And welcome. So yes, our intention really by making this introduction of Hilo as a platform to the communities is exactly that, to empower the creation of groups for the communities that want to create their own, and then ultimately to be able to connect them together. So that groups of the groups and how they're linked is something that we'll be able to explore beyond the summit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you, because it's a great opportunity. Well, I wasn't expecting that huge. I thought that at the beginning, this is just for the summit, but now I realize it's more than that, and it's going to be very helpful. I'll be introducing to my project teams. Thank you.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah, that's really, really, really excellent. Thank you. Yeah, and so we're going to do it both ways, because for some people, they may only use it, or they may just start by dipping the toe in of saying, okay, we can use this for the summit. And then they can feel that out. But certainly if you're ready to go, then you can start right away to create the group during the summit, actually, because that's the other aspect of what we are going to do with the for the hubs. So a lot of folks seeing this video are also involved in the summit, maybe even have been involved in prior editions where we've done the hubs, and the hubs can be added to the map on the Gen website. Also, there's instructions for how to do that come in the hub email. And then also we're adding this layer of being able to host virtual events, and just to give this tool as a support for that. So for example, this event that we're at today was created as a Hilo event, and by being part of the group, you're able to see the event. And so if someone wants to host a Q&A in relation to a session that happens during the summit, because the recordings are being released. So the recording is released and people can watch it. You could create a watch party for your own session. You know, if you're one of the participants in the summit and you want to invite people to gather and watch it together, or to host a Q&A about it, or to post a discussion following a session. You know, the panels that we have are really reach into some deep topics and some really important ongoing conversations. So Hilo will be a perfect place to be able to have that ongoing conversation in between, and then also to be able to have to pop up with other events or conversations. So that's part of it. And I will say that it is experimental. So this is the first year that we're using Hilo within the summit, and it's also, Hilo is in development actively. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind as we explore, so that we keep it in that frame, that it is an exploration of a new technology, and a technology that wants to work for the people and with the people. So we have a really cool opportunity to be giving our feedback on our experience, and also being able to help inform how these tools can really work for all of us and for all of life. So I think people can continue to put maybe questions in the chat, and then also I can start just another screen share here briefly to highlight some of the other features for how we use it. All right, so you're seeing my screen? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, great. So Claire used a good example of showing how to create, and you can do that just from here also. So when you start, you can describe what you're adding. One of the ways to use it as it's already existing, as far as introducing ourselves, is actually you can add ourselves at the bottom. So we're right here, just start adding something. If we did want to have a discussion where we were tagging other people, same as many other platforms, you can just start by and you can tag people there. So that's that. Maybe just a quick comment that with the map, it does take a moment to load, especially when there's a lot of elements, depending on how many elements there were. So that was a thing. But events are one of the things that we will emphasize during the event. This is here's the post for the EDE, the online EDE course that's happening at the end of the summit. So that's, and it has a link to the details. So there's that piece, but we also could have people adding events during the summit, and there will be more there. So stay tuned. I know of a few that will be added, but also one of the ways I anticipate us using the platform is to be able to have discussions. So if we're going to just leave that there as a discussion, and then we could give a name of the session. It could be, panel on social transformation, and then we can add the description. It could have a link. We can, as Claire demoed, we can add the topics. In this case, it would make sense to give it that social. I believe we have social dimension, and so we can add that. And then when we're posting it, again, that example. So for this case, we'll probably leave the posts internal to the group, but some cases it might want to be posted publicly, and it can be. And then if you have access to other groups, I think it's really good to just be thoughtful about which groups to include, so that when it populates in their stream, it's relevant to them. So that's something that I was experiencing or noticing about keeping the warm data, keeping it relevant for where we're posting. But public is public, meaning that we want other people to see it. So that's also really great. So that's there for those pieces. And I think we may end up, one thing to watch for is that we'll post more videos, and we'll probably post like a smaller video of how to do a few of the things, just so that when people come to the page, they would be able to learn how to create a post or learn how to do certain things like post an event. I'll probably create one for that. But this session here is more of a open demo and just a getting to know Hilo. So while we're here together, I'd love to see if there's any other questions. I can leave the share open if there's questions specifically about how we're using Hilo during the summit. I can leave that open. And also, if there's any questions for Claire or for Gabrielle and I in relation to the summit.
Thanks, Kayala. I was thinking, can you show everyone, if by clicking on your icon in the top right, how to get to the support tab? So if you're seeing anything weird, you need any help with Hilo, you can click on that feedback and support, and that's going to pop open this intercom interface, and you can put your question, and that will go to the Hilo team. So use this with discernment, because we're a small team and we can't handle a lot of volume. But if you're having any issues or seeing anything weird, please do let us know.
Yeah, and then we can also search for other answers there. That's really, really helpful. So thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. And the other thing I was going to, as far as topics, it was indicated there when you create something, and if you add new topics, then they're automatically added to the topics overall within Hilo, but then they're searchable here. So if we were going to search for these topics, I created this tag or topic of eco-social tech in relation to this event, because I see that as like a category that might be a new category to some people, and they're thinking, well, that's okay to add a new topic or a new category. And we did, we probably, it's quite likely that we'll do some filtering for different topics based on how to help people navigate the summit, just to be able to search for certain pieces that way. So there's a learning curve, and it's also cultural. That's why I mentioned that eco-social tech is like, these are technologies that we want to have informed by ecology and social coherence. So that's a big part of it. Super excited about that. If are there any other, maybe comments or questions that people want to make? Happy to invite that space. Oh yeah, so there's a question there in the chat about how to create events. Yeah, I actually I invite you to create your own events, and we can, if you want help with it, you can ask for that too. But for now, I think it's a good experiment for us to just go ahead and if you need feedback on the process, then definitely feel free to reach out. I think that and Claire, you could maybe answer this too, since we may want to offer, we're going to offer people support from within our group, so our moderators. So you wouldn't be going to the outside, like to the bit top level feedback for support there. Like it would be more so going to a, I'll make a post for, and then I guess that's just really quickly, I'll make it right now. I'll probably edit it later to make it more complete. But this is now here in discussions, and I can pin that one, but that's as a moderator. So I won't get into as much of the details from the moderation side, but this post that I just
you might need to
added,
refresh it.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is good. This is a good demoing of some of the side of the user end of this that all of us that are participating will see. So yeah, refreshing.
That's actually a bug that Tibet has fixed, and that update is going to get pushed sometime today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So it's actively being worked on. But yeah, and then so I can
there we go.
Pin that one just because that does feel important to do that, and then I would refresh again for it to be for the pin to move up, and I've seen that there too. So, but then Birgit, so if you wanted to create the event directly for now, and then if we change that later and we're asking you to submit them to us first, but for now I think it's the intention is to be pretty I would say like decentralized in a way too, as far as Gen as a network of networks and Gen as the broader movement. It also, with all the eco-villages and all the regions and all of the bioregions within Gen, we want to invite participation at a we're all creators and co-creators. So your events, in this experimental space, you can create and post your events directly, and they'll all be visible to the others who are part of the summit. And before the end of the summit, we'll offer some more next steps orientation for how we want to go forward next. So as far as creating other groups, you might wait to create another group at first and just test out the space that we have so far. But if you're really clear on the way that your eco-village is organized or your project is organized and you're ready to create your group and put the logo on there and really just build it out, you could totally just do that while we're here, because that is part of the time that we can be really engaged during the summit. So this has been a hopefully a really informative session, and the recording will be shared. And there will be opportunities. I'll share the recording link in Hilo also as a post, and then people in a resource, and then people can comment and ask questions on this video there also.
Thank you. It was very helpful.
Right. Yeah, thanks for
coming. Thanks so much, Kayala. Thanks, Gabrielle. Wishing you a wonderful summit.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting. Gabriel, yeah, please.
No. Yeah, we're just so excited, to have this, finally to have a proper space for building the relationships we want. We're striving this year. It's a new context with the pandemic. People are not that eager to participate in an online event after 1 year of too many online events. And at the same time, I think it's a good evolution for our summit. It's the 3rd edition, and it's something that we always wanted to do, to be more interactive, to have more conversations, and for the talks that we are providing, that they encourage discussions, not that they put an ending point to that topic, but actually that they sparkle a discussion and generate more. And also because, you know, we are a global eco-village network, we want to build communities, we want to support building communities, and we feel this is a step forward into building community, even if it's a virtual online community, it's still worth trying it, you know, and we're really excited about it. Someone mentioned this, I can't remember who it was, but we're not only a global eco-village network, but now we're also becoming a global eco-village. And I think Hilo is a step in this direction. So I'm really eager and excited to see people using it and the conversations happening, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you so much, Claire and Kiala, for bringing this to the summit. And I think it's going to be fantastic to have it.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll respond more to all the questions as they show up on Hilo as well. And where the summit launches tomorrow as of this recording. And yeah, see you all there. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Blessings.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.